Hey everybody, I'm Zach of Darlington Farm, and for this week we are going to be looking at a really cheap welder. So the fine folks at Vevor got a hold of me and asked if I was interested in doing some reviews on their welders. And really, for 129 bucks, I'm interested to see what this will do. So this particular one here is the Vevor TIG Welder 3-in-1 110 volt high frequency TIG stick clean welding machine with IGBT. So $129 as of day of filming here. And I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to work for those of you out there that are, say, new to welding or want to get into TIG welding. This might be a good option for you to pick up. With shipping and everything, I suppose you're probably going to be less than 150 bucks in this guy. And if you can pick up a bottle of argon, there you go. You can start TIG welding for fairly cheap. So let's go ahead and open the box here. I have not looked in this guy yet. And let's take a look at what comes in the box. So yeah, seems like everybody is doing reviews of stuff from Vevor here. Looks like you get a braided hose, and I'm interested to see if this thing is any good. So we got a ground clamp. What else we got in here? It looks like there's a ground clamp and something else in there. And also, this welder does cleaning, which I can show you guys that one. So I have a Cougartron weld cleaner that's basically like a DC power supply and a brush that's made out of carbon fiber. You dip it in phosphoric acid for cleaning your welds on stainless steel. So if this would actually work for that, it would be nice to have a backup machine, because I have a Cougartron, but occasionally it will trip off and I'll have issues with it. So it looks like you get a ground clamp and some little bent metal dealies, some hose clamps, and some screws in that guy. Okay, looks like we're getting some packaging here. Manual, we don't need that. Some more packaging and a box. So let's see what we got here. So the main event here, we have this cute little welder. Let's see, got a big fan on the back. Interesting gas port. It looks like just a barbed fitting. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen a welder with that before. The switch looks identical to the one on my Milwaukee air compressor. And on the front here, looks like we got our TIG torch. So it looks like it has a separate gas port for your TIG torch, your ground clamp, and your stinger there. So it looks like this is the small DINS connector. So let's go ahead and see what we got in the baggie here. I'm assuming this is the TIG torch. Oh. So it looks like we got a TIG torch, which it's kind of nice. It comes pre-assembled. It looks like a standard 17 style torch. Huh. Interesting. It's kind of a little flimsy, but considering that I have bought TIG torches that cost more than this whole welder, I'm not going to complain. It looks like I could put some standard consumables in there. But let's see what we got here as far as consumables goes. So you comes with a piece of red tungsten that's 2% thoriated. You got a long back cap for that. And it looks like you got some really tiny nozzles. Now, I don't know that I would ever use nozzles that small, but they're there. And it looks like you got a 1/16, and I think this is a 40,000th collet. So it looks like you got about everything you need kind of just coming out of the box here to actually weld. So I think what we'll do before I go putting a nice torch and other stuff on this guy is we will use exclusively what came out of the box to try and do some stainless steel welding. Ooh, that doesn't really want to go in there. Yeah, so we, no, we might have experienced our first issue with this. Looks like the threads are a little manky in there, so that might necessitate some adjustment. So we'll we'll see what we can do here. We'll go ahead and hook it up, put power to it, and see what it looks like. So this torch comes with like a denim, sparkly, it's really sparkly, cover here, and then you got the cable for your torch switch and your TIG torch here. So I assumed that this was for your gas alone, but that looks like that is for the TIG torch and your gas in one cord. So it looks like this must be for your stinger and your ground there. So that's that guy on there. We'll go ahead and hook this dude up. Now, let's see, the one thing that it did not come with is a gas regulator. So we'll have to go ahead and rig one up here. This looks like it takes a 3/8 barb fitting. So we'll have to do some rummaging here in the shop to see if I can find something with a 3/8 barb that we can actually get our gas going. So we may have to do some digging there. But let's go ahead and get this stuff out here. So it looks like you got some screws. And then I think sounds like somebody's outside with a motorcycle. So we may have to adjourn here and make this a two-part. All right, so we had a little bit of an interruption there, had a customer show up, but we're gonna go ahead and put the welder together here and we'll give it a try. So it comes with these little dealies here, which I believe probably go here in the front and back, that I'm assuming is for wrapping your cord around. So I'm assuming the fine folks at Vevor would like me to put this guy all together here, so I'll go ahead and do that. These are just a regular Phillips head screw, and looks like you could go ahead and wrap your torch up around the front and back here. So we'll go ahead and put these guys on here. Now I'm actually fairly excited to try this, like I said earlier, for using it as a weld cleaner. So I think we'll go ahead, put it together here, see if we can TIG weld with it, and we'll try it out as a cleaner. So that should be interesting. Okay, so it looks like you get a couple different collets here. It looks like you've got two 1/16 inch collets, and I believe that's a 40 thousandths collet. And it looks like it comes with some 1/16 inch tungsten, which I broke trying to cut it here, but I went ahead and stuck it up in the torch here. I really like these Milwaukee band files to sharpen tungsten. You don't need a fancy tungsten grinder. You can just use one of those guys, and it also works great for deburring stainless steel. So we'll go ahead and try it like this. This cup is a little tiny for what I would use. We'll give it a try since it came with the welder. Now we'll go ahead and plug this guy in. We're plugged in. Okay, it didn't blow up. See, it's at 120 amps. I really don't know how you would get 120 amps off a 110 amp outlet, but we'll say turn it to, I don't know, 55 amps. That is what I usually like to clean, or like to weld at. So I turned it to clean here. I don't know how that works. So we got TIG. Oh, it's got high frequency start. That's cool. Really loud high frequency start, but it's got it. So we'll go ahead and turn this down to say 55. And it looks like you can do 2T, so I'm assuming that is where it's only on when you hit the torch switch. Or 4T, if I am not mistaken, is going to be on and then off when you hit the switch there. It looks like you can adjust your pre-flow. That's actually pretty cool. If this guy works, this actually wouldn't be a half bad little TIG welder. So it comes with just a piece of hose here. So I'll have to rummage around the shop and get a barb fitting on a argon regulator. But looks like it just slips on here. On the back, you're provided with some hose clamps. And yeah, let's get a bottle of argon set up here and get going with this. I'm anxious to play with it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try welding some stainless steel. This is just some 16 gauge, I think, left over from another job here. So we're gonna see how it works on that. Wow, I'm actually shocked. It was right at about what I would have guessed 55 amps would have been. This piece is kind of manky. The shear caught it and rolled it. So it didn't really want to weld, but let me try this again here and try tacking it down. That's not actually bad. This, I mean, just with the consumables that came with it, is not half bad. For 129 bucks, plus you'd have to buy yourself an argon tank. That's not bad. You know, it feels a little hot. So we're at 47 amps on there. That feels to me more about like maybe 60 amps or something like that. But, you know, not a half bad weld there, even with this really tiny cup on it. I'm gonna swap it out to a larger cup here to get some better shielding on that stainless. But I'm actually really impressed. Yeah, that was went a lot better than I was expecting. Okay, we'll see. It looks like a standard gas lens fits in there. Does it actually screw up there? Okay, I'm gonna have to do something there to make that fit. So we'll pause here and I'll go rummage and see what I can find to make that fit. All right, so the one downfall of this welder so far I've seen is that it takes a gas cup here that's a little different than anything else I've got. I run mostly CK consumables on all my other torches, and I could not come up with a combination that would work with this. If you're welding carbon steel with it, that would not be an issue, although I have not looked on the Vevor website. I'm sure they sell different cup sizes here. Just this one is really, really small. So it is kind of difficult to use with stainless steel and get good shielding gas. But I am shocked at how well this thing actually welds. I'll go ahead and do another one here. It feels it's like a little hot. It's set at 47, and to me it felt more like maybe about 60. But we'll try again here. And I am shocked at just how well something that's $129 welds. Now again, I don't know what the duty cycle is going to be, but for a just straight TIG welder, if you're somebody that wants to hang out in your garage and learn how to TIG weld, this would absolutely be a good option. So you could pick up the welder for say like 130 bucks or 140 bucks with shipping, whatever that comes out to be in. Spend about another $200 and get yourself an argon bottle and a regulator, and you could be welding stainless steel. So there's the weld. It's going to look pretty gray because of the lack of shielding there from that small cup size, but there you go. Get a close-up of that zoomer, and yeah, not a bad deal. I'm actually pretty impressed. We'll go ahead and we'll try doing something a little thicker. This, like I said, this was like 16 gauge, so we'll try and do something a little thicker with this guy here. All right, so welded that 16 gauge, and I think we're gonna go ahead and crank this guy all the way up here and see what it'll do off of a 110 amp circuit. I am somewhat skeptical at its ability to do 150 amps off of a 110 volt circuit, considering I don't have any other machines that can do that, and somehow this would be working better than, you know, a $5,000 Miller. We'll see what it does.
Whoa! Holy sh**.
It's putting out some juice. All right, so take two. I was not actually expecting to have it put out that much oomph. I have a feeling it's gonna trip the circuit breaker here. We're on a dedicated 20 amp circuit, but we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that's putting out some oomph.
Oh, and there we just tripped the circuit breaker. So yeah, didn't think we'd actually get 150 amps for very long off of a 20 amp circuit. So we'll reset and see what happens. Okay, I actually did not expect that. I did not expect it would actually be putting out that much power. Typically off of a 110 volt 20 amp outlet, you're only gonna be able to get about 90 amps off of, you know, like a Miller MaxStar or you know, a machine like that. So we'll go ahead and set it at 80 here and see what happens. See if we will trip the circuit breaker. We'll go 85. That's usually my kind of absolute highest I really want to do in a plant.
Let's see what happens. Okay, that feels about right. That's what I would have expected, the way this would run at 85. So really, I'm pretty impressed with how well this is doing.
Honestly, I did not have that great of expectations for this welder, and it's working pretty good. So I don't know what to say. It, you know, I don't know longevity-wise how it would hold up, but I'm actually pretty impressed.
So we're on 2.5 inch schedule 40 pipe right now. If I were actually welding this, I'd probably be running about 120 amps. Although I could get the job done.
No doubt with this welder, it would just be a little slower. So I'm impressed. Like I said, you know, I'm surprised. For 129 bucks, not bad. Let's see what happens next. All right, we're gonna check and see how much current this is drawing here. I'm just kind of curious. So we got the welder set at 85 amps. We got the scope meter set up there to see what kind of voltage and amperage we're pulling.
Not bad. Like I said, this thing is actually not a half bad welder.
All right, so I'm curious to see what that comes out at. All right, so we're gonna see how the duty cycle is on this. We got the welder set at 50 amps, and I'm just gonna go ahead and weld this joint out here. I wanna say this is about 10 inches, something like that. So let's see what happens.
Huh.
All right, so we're having a little bit of an issue here where it will not want to ignite the arc. I don't know what happened here, but we'll see if we can make this work.
There we go, it lit off that time without any troubles. I don't know what the, I don't know what was going on. But I can't really, other than that, say anything too bad about this guy here. So we're just gonna go ahead and weld out this joint and see how this actually does over at least a few minutes of operation. So I'm not dipping here, I am just washing in. This is a piece of 16th filler, and this is a piece of, or a joint here of, oh, and we just dropped out.
I don't know what that was all about. So, I don't know, 129 bucks, but may have some issues. All right, so I've been having a few issues here with it not wanting to initiate the arc and then the arc dropping out. We'll see what's going on here. I don't know exactly what's up with this, but I want to at least try to finish this joint here. So
we'll go ahead, we'll light up if we can, and there we go. We can at least get lift arc with it. And I got the machine set, I believe, at 50 amps because this is fairly thin stainless steel, and if you are not adjusting your heat over a run like this, the heat will build up in the part, and by the time you get to the end, you'll be way too hot. And this thing's kind of welding a little weird right now. There we go, that's kind of smoothing out. It's wanting to wander, and I don't really know what's up with that. Okay, we're running along here pretty good. You know, I like a little bit heavier torch just to make it a little easier to... Oh, whoop, and it dropped out there. I think that was
partially me trying to move my hand on my rough table here. Let's see if we can grind our tungsten and get another one going here. Some of that, I think there was me wobbling at the end. So again, I'm just using this Milwaukee grinder. And we'll go ahead and see what happens here. I was gonna try and get that joint across there in one go, but this thing was acting a little weird, and then I was kind of wobbling as I tried to move. So let's try and see what happens here. Actually, I might bump that up to say about 55 amps. And we'll see what we can have going this time.
Okay, that worked out a lot better. Maybe it just doesn't like if you have a dull tungsten. Okay, yeah, I think it's I think it might have just been the dull tungsten because it's actually running pretty good right now. So chalk that one up to user error. I will say this torch is getting pretty warm at this point. But again, considering this is like a $130 welder, you know, this isn't half bad. I mean, if you're just somebody playing around out in your garage and, you know, you want to melt some metal together and not spend a whole lot of money, or if you're actually wanting to get into welding, this would be a good way to get your foot in the door. Whoops, and I dipped. Hey, it lit off the second time. Maybe it's just the low amperage it doesn't like. Let's, we'll get this joint done. Let's see what happens here. Maybe that's it.
Okay, so let's try that. See, my theory was that when you turn this really low, maybe it doesn't want to start. So we'll go down here as low as it goes and see what happens.
Oh no, it lit up.
Whoa! Okay, I don't know what happened there. Okay, we'll go up to 20 amps and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, that worked. We'll go up to 35. How's that?
Okay, no, that lit up. Okay, just fine. But there, it doesn't, kind of wants to be a little difficult. But there it starts.
I don't know. So maybe the high frequency start is a little bit finicky, but again, I mean, $129.99. What do you expect? So I don't know. Okay, it lit off fine that time at 75 amps. I don't know what to tell you, but really for, again, $129, You can weld stainless steel with it. I don't know really what else to say. Let me buff this guy here. Right there, the weld's a little gray, but you know, after you polish it, because on any kind of food grade thing, you're gonna polish it anyway, so if the weld's a little gray, it does not matter. You know, again, for $129, it's not terrible. I mean, that's a really small cup. If you could find a larger cup size for this, I mean, this really wouldn't be a half bad machine. I mean, the torch comes with a switch already attached to it. I mean, what do you say about it? It's $129. Like, my TIG rigs from my other millers and stuff like that cost more than this whole setup. I mean, this really, for 129 bucks, that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, I'm pretty impressed. So anyway, yeah, I'm Zach. I am a full-time stainless steel sanitary welder, maker, and I guess first-time reviewer of a Vevor welder here. And we'll use it here in the shop and see how it holds up. But for 129 bucks, I can't say anything bad about this. I'm actually pretty impressed. Like, if you guys want to check in the description below, there's a discount code they sent me to go along with this. And yeah, we'll have to email them and see if there's any other Vevor tools that they would be willing to send. If there's any other things on the Vevor site there that you're interested in checking out, please leave that in the comments below. Hopefully they will see that and maybe send a tool out to review. But again, for 129 bucks, I can't say anything bad about it. Because I am who I am, we have to void the warranty. I don't know if these actually come with a warranty, but we're gonna void it if there is one. Whoops. So, like I said, I'm actually pretty impressed with this thing. At the price point it's at, I can't say anything bad about this thing. I'm just curious what kind of corners they have to cut inside this to actually get to that price point. So, here we go. We have some capacitors, inductors, and I'm assuming these are the IGBTs up here. And then your control board. And looks like the ground goes to the chassis there. Your gas solenoid back here. But yeah, I'm actually fairly impressed. So, cool setup here. Again, you know, I can't say anything bad about this. You know, I've been offered some other, you know, import welders to try out before, and this was the first one I said yes to. But I can't say anything bad about this. Again, you know, you're looking at $129. My cheapest miller that I got used was $350. So, you know, this is at a price point where, say, if you're somebody that wants to get into welding, really you buy this machine, some scrap metal, and then an argon bottle, and you have enough stuff to get started. So I'm pretty impressed with this. I want to say thanks to the folks at Vevor again for sending this out. And if, yeah, so you can look in the description below for a discount code from Vevor. I believe it is for their entire store, not just this welder. I want to say thanks again to the folks at Vevor for sending me this, and thank you all for watching. Check back to the channel for more welding related content.